All right, welcome back to Stories from the Dirt. Today we have Cara and Danielle of Grit and Grace, and we've interviewed them before, so we just wanted to kind of follow up with them. You guys are rookies coming into your first year, but your training calendar was pretty elaborate. So you've been through some trainings. Let's talk about how things are going.
Oh, it's been going crazy. I actually just got back from 11 weeks out in the PNW West Coast area while we had the Rebel mock trials. Gosh, I can't even remember. How many trials have we done? Two trainings since we met last, Danielle?
Um,
Um,
Like the ones
I
with
literally,
Lonnie.
oh yeah, yeah. So we did it Johnson Valley with Lonnie and Lisa, Rory, Shelby,
Yeah.
Peg, like all those ladies. Um, then the week after that, we did Rebel U. That was our first Rebel U.
Hmm.
Um, we, I think we had already done the training with Holly and Laura and Lonnie at Ridgecrest at the last time we were on the podcast,
Either
right?
that or we were about to. We were about to
I
go back
don't
into it.
remember. Oh my gosh, our calendar
yeah,
is
but you've done
wild.
Johnson Valley, Ridgecrest
Ridgecrest twice,
Yeah.
with
Johnson
Rebel U.
Valley, and Nina's
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, Nina was our
Well,
first with, that's how we met Avis. And then I think from
Hmm.
there, I think we have the two Ridgecrest under our belts, one with Rebel U and then one with like Holly and Laura, the previous competitors in the Rebel U. And then we've done the Johnson Valley one. And then we're fixing to do another Ridgecrest one with Rebel U again.
yeah. So, you guys did the Rebel, trials. How was that? Do you like that? I like that format.
Oh, I really liked that a lot. That really just, I don't know, I feel like it gave us a little insight of what it might really actually be like, but not as tough, I don't think.
No,
Certainly not as tough.
they
um,
kinda lure you into that
yeah, I
confidence.
mean, we had 13 checkpoints. There were more because there were like X options. We did all the X options. Emily had encouraged all the veterans to do the
Oh,
regular plus the X options, and so um, we didn't have time to do that, but we did do all the X options.
I think that's
Nice.
so. We actually got to meet Emily Miller and staff, Chrissy, and some other ladies. We hadn't gotten to see what their style was like, so that's one of the reasons why we wanted to specifically do Rebel Use and obviously the training. But we wanted to
Mhm.
get kind of Emily's thoughts behind things. And oh, I guess I did do with Danielle wasn't at the Plain Washington, but I got to do some of the Rebel events there at the Northwest Overland Rally.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that was really cool, and just seeing the format. That's one thing that me and Danielle are working on as far as like Nina has always said, you got to learn how to compete and then to become competitive or something like that along that lines. And so we're learning like which our time management is of course a huge deal with this. So like which X's we go after versus, we have to get to those greens. And so I think that was really good for that mock trial day for me and Danielle to be like, okay, what can we do?
Hmm.
Yeah, the time pressure is it's a real thing, and you just a lot of times when you're just practicing, like, it's just different.
Yeah.
So,
So
something we totally changed up, which I think is exciting and did it it went very well for us, is I am driving for the enduros now, and Kara is she was always doing the math, but she's still doing the math, and then being the navigator.
mhm.
And man, like, one that felt like a huge weight off my shoulders. It's almost like I had a break from navigating, but also she is significantly better under that pressure and reading off the navigation out loud. And so it was just that I think that was kind of a little game changer for us, and that's a big thing that we did recently.
Yeah, and it really makes
Nice.
sense like after we've thought about it and hearing everybody's like their situations with it. Like since I'm already doing the math, I'm already looking at it. So why not read it to her Like, why
Mhm.
try to be so stuck in our role that we just don't just switch for that? And I think we'll end up switching for like the transits and that stuff too. Again, just to give Danielle a break. She's that's a big job to have your head in the net maps, to be able to look up and just kind of like take a minute to not be so stressed. Unless, of course, you need the plot. It will adjust.
Yeah, then I still
Yeah.
have to sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things coming into my 3rd year that I, was trying to figure out is how to get a break from the navigating seat to, like you said, maybe drive on transits or something like that, so we're leaving that open. But
I like, yeah.
I've never considered switching for the enduros, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Like I said, I already do the math. And so like
Yeah.
why have her, because that's just a time waste of her to then go and like look at the turns, figure out what things you need to mark as far as cautions and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So it just made sense. And it gave her a brief break, and just our personalities, it really worked out well for us, I think.
Much better. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, did you learn anything else, like, that you wanna change or things that you're like, "Well, we had this in mind, and now, yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do?"
Yeah, I communicate now,
Yeah. It's
and it goes
amazing what
really
happens
well. It's
when she
it's completely incredible when I get out of my head and quit just being buried in the map and voicing and communicating what I'm thinking about and what I'm looking at. And yeah, that was hard.
It's definitely still
Okay.
something that we're gonna work on too, because like she's
Yeah,
that's not something that's first nature for her. And
it's
so
not.
like I have to sit there and like tell her like, and as a driver, we had, I think it was the Saturday, the day before the actual trials, where we got to pick out some points and go and find it. Well, we didn't get one of the points. We were quite a ways off, and it was like I didn't really know what I was looking for the whole time. Like I was just driving and taking her to these checkpoints.
Mhm.
Well, now we're like, now we've like on Sunday, the day of the trials, that was our best day. And it was all because she was just like, okay, here's the plan that I'm thinking. And like just talked it through. And I know some days we're not going to be able to do so much of that, but I think it's just finding that rhythm and being able to figure out if we nail like such and such checkpoints for the day, like half the day's worth, and then we take a break, make lunch, and then we talk it through the next half or whatever we can do, just kind of
Mhm.
you get so like this that
Yeah.
you need to just kind of pace yourself. And I think that makes it a lot easier as far as us communicating. And so she would say, well, this is what my plan is, and this is what checkpoints I think we have time for this. What do you think? And like it was just like so nice to be able to feel like I could contribute to her
Yeah.
thinking, and then her be able to voice it and sound it out. It
And
was
have another
amazing.
opinion also. I
Mhm.
think I think that prior to Rebel You, that particular Rebel You, I don't think Kara, and this is just me thinking, I don't know. I don't
No,
know
I
that
know. I think I know you were going.
she had so much confidence in the navigation part or understanding the navigation. Like, yeah, she knows it, enough, just look at it.
Yeah.
But after that class, I think it really
Mhm.
clicked so much in her brain. And I had to, where maybe I was in my head a lot prior to that, I felt like, well, she understands it so much more now. And that Saturday, 'cause we were in class Thursday, Friday, then that Saturday, I didn't I didn't make that switch of communicating more with her now that she really understands a lot of the navigation a whole lot more. And
Mm.
then it clicked on Sunday and it was
Yeah,
just like,
I
holy
completely
crap.
agree with that.
Yeah, like Kara just,
Yeah.
I mean, that class is wonderful. That class is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think before this, I've always been like, I don't want to look at it at all, because I want to make sure that like she feels comfortable in that, and I didn't want to like then feel like I'm taking over that. Because as far as like a driver, you think there's not a whole lot of, and I say this now, but also we were told, at the class that like a navigator can get you lost, but a driver can get you killed. Well, before that, I was thinking driver doesn't really have as much responsibility because me and her both, have been driving for a long time. So I felt the pressure was more on the navigator, and it still is. But at the same time, I was like, I want her to like really focus on that, and I can't because that's her role, And so, I think since with me learning more of it, I think that's helped a lot too. And I'm not probably as efficient or as fast as she is, but at least know, like I
She
know how to plot and stuff.
she like
Yeah.
told she it's like all the pieces came
Hmm.
together, I think, at that
Yeah.
class for her. And then it took me a minute to realize, yeah, okay, like things can change now. Like this is awesome. And so I'm really looking forward to the our next trials.
Yeah, to see how it all.
Or no, is it trials?
Oh,
It's
it's
just
not
when we call
trials. It's
you.
just a
I don't even remember what we're doing next.
yeah.
Oh.
I had to remind you,
um,
podcast.
yeah, I know. You had to remind me. But yeah, I'm really excited to for us to be together training again and just to see those changes, I don't know,
Mhm,
it's really exciting.
Yeah, because you theorize about all the things that are gonna work and how you're gonna communicate, but when you get in the vehicle together and it
mhm.
comes to the practical application, like, it all just changes.
And
Oh
it's
yeah,
stressful as heck. You get in there and there's so much pressure and I'm just like I have the tendency to be very quiet and to not talk, period. Like
Yeah.
at home, anywhere, it doesn't matter. And Kara is not like that. And
broad
she's
other
the
end.
opposite. And so for me to get quiet, she starts thinking,
Are
"Oh my
you
God,
mad?
she's mad at me." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not mad at you." But
Yeah.
yeah, so it just gets so stressful like in that moment and it's, how
I
am I
can't
gonna
imagine
do?
not
And
have known. Like I can't imagine competing with someone I've not known, and I
no.
can't imagine not having any practice before. Like Holly, she's never had like she her first training was this past year, and she's competed in so many, and I just can't
Yeah.
imagine. I can't imagine. Like she obviously her brain is a little bit different than mine, but I rebel is something that's going to challenge you both physically, emotionally, but mentally. And I don't even think that we can grasp that until you're on like day 6 or
Do
day
it.
5.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really can't. Like, you think you're prepared for it, but I think I shared with you guys my first year, I was like, "It's gonna be no big deal." Like, I'm off grid all the time. I travel without Rob quite a bit. Um, when I go on girls' trips and stuff like that, I should be fine. But then, like, you don't have your phone. You have no communication with your person. And if you've
Mhm.
had a bad day, it's probably because of your teammate. And so your person that you brought with you is not even really a safe space for your emotions anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's really like, and they talk about the day 3. You've heard about the
Hmm.
mysterious day 3 on the rally, and Emily will say, anybody can do something for 3 days, and that's why it's an 8-day event. And that
Yeah.
day 3 it's real. I remember my first day 3, my first year, I came into base camp and, Emily was walking through camp and she's like, "Oh, hey, miss, how'd your day go?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was day 3." And she was like, "Oh, it gets better." So,
That's what I
yeah.
can't. That's what I'm dreading, just because I'm just very emotional, and so I want to overcome that. And I think I'm with me traveling as much as I have, out west. I know that's not going to be put me and her in the same seat, and we, like. But man,
Mhm.
I hope that I'm a little bit more prepared. I'm very quick to move on sometimes, but it depends on if it's that time of the month for me. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
how can I schedule the rally around my cycle?
It's a thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah, and there's a bunch of women and we're all living together and it's a real thing.
And it
Um,
forces you to have that confrontation with your partner, like even if you're. And I think that that's how you move on from that conflict with them. Like at the end of the day, Danielle's my best friend, and the rally is great, but that's not what like if I don't have my friend at the end of this, for me,
Mhm.
like I've lost the rally. And so
right.
like I want to be able to figure out how to like have those conversations. And that's another thing that we learned while we were out at the trials was I've got to go to her and I got to tell her, even though I don't want to go to her because I don't want to make her even more upset. Like it's like those things where we have to
And
figure it
I
out.
cry. Like I when I'm upset, like I cry like so bad. It's
And
so
see, I don't want to make
awful.
her cry, so
And
I'll just
Kara
suck it up.
and then Kara's just like not crying and I'm like a blubbery hot mess and ridiculous
Well,
and my emotions go from like I'm fine to I'm not fine.
yeah.
Kara knows. She knows this about
I'm
me.
a crier. I cry when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm
Yeah.
scared, like, I cry, but and I think that's a lot of times, like, people that aren't criers, they're like, "Oh, I don't wanna make you cry." Crying is just a reaction that my body has. It doesn't like I'm crying, but it's like it's a normal thing.
Yeah,
Like,
but
keep
I'm a
talking to me.
disastrous crier. It's so bad.
"Do I
Yeah,
wanna see this? I
it's
kind of
very
do wanna."
blubbery.
I don't know that you want to see it. It's so bad.
As long as it's not because I've done something, then y'all can
It's
have y'all's
usually I'm
moment.
like ticked off at myself about something is usually why I'm crying. Like I realize like I did something. So and
Yeah.
then I'm really, really pissed at myself.
It
Well,
was
you don't
great at the Overland Expo. Like she was crying just because we were having a conversation of she doesn't want to let me down or we have YouTube or whatever, and she's like, everybody
I don't
knows
want to
you
make
from
you
YouTube.
look dumb.
And like stop it. I was like, you think that like it's your responsibility? Like what?
We'll be like in Mexico and yeah, look at Ozark Overland Adventures Navigator. Best friend has them in Mexico now.
I'm pretty sure Kara would clue in at the border crossing. She'd
I
be like,
would.
"I don't think we're supposed to be going this way."
But let's go to the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't like the water. I reject that idea.
We remember you don't like the water. You don't like water.
No, I don't like the water. All right. Well, I had some questions that I can't, they've escaped me at the moment. What else is going on in your life? Kara, I know you've been traveling around a lot.
Mhm.
What have you been doing, Danielle?
Oh, well, I came home after the trials. And I've mostly been home. I went on a little vacation with my aunt, had a little jaunt down to Florida just recently. It was pretty quick there and back. So staying busy at home. But um, we leave on Monday. My husband and my son and I were going to go down to South America, to Guyana, and bringing our hiking packs and basically traipsing around the jungle for 2 weeks looking for fish, reptiles, amphibians, all sorts of stuff like that. My husband and my son are both biologists. All my husband's field work has been in South America.
We
And
were
so
playing
that's,
with all the snakes at all of the
yeah.
like we found so many snakes at Rebel U trials. We were messaging our husbands. He was like, "Okay, I no longer am concerned about you getting lost. I'm concerned about you playing with reptiles while you're out
I just stop and see them and I just get so excited.
Yeah.
She does that. I call them out because she has her head down in the map, and I'm like, snake. And next thing I know, the map's
Woo!
getting tossed.
Yeah, I get very excited about stuff like that. Not afraid of stuff like that.
I'm
Yeah. We
afraid she's
found a
going to go to
little
Guyana and get like some kind of disease that
I'm
makes her
probably
not.
gonna come back. I mean, it's a thing. I'm gonna be very
it's a thing.
careful. My husband has come back with dengue fever. He has come back with chikungunya, or well, it was dengue fever or chikungunya. We're not sure. The infectious disease doctor wasn't sure. He's had leishmaniasis, which is a flesh-eating protozoan. I can't remember. It's not a bacteria. It's something alive. Um, yeah, it's been interesting over the years, the things he's come back with. So yeah, I've got my 100% DEET. I'm going to be wearing it, melting all my clothes probably by putting too much on. I
Please
might
do.
come back with bot flies. Like, that's going to be kind of interesting if I get a bot fly. It's like a little fly that lands on you and a worm starts growing under your skin and it's painful and it's disgusting.
But
You can
yet
just
you
edit this
sound
part
so
out.
excited about
She
it.
is.
I am. I kind of am. I've gotten botflies out of other people. I was a nurse for 16 years in my past life, and I've gotten botflies out of people, and it's really fun. But I've never had one myself. I don't know that I really want one myself. It's kind of gross.
I don't think I could
But
be a one-man band for the
one of our
rally.
friends, Kristen, she immediately knew what I was talking about, and I think Kristen would kind of be excited if I got one.
So, my first year, my teammate was like, when we were like, I don't know, 10 weeks out or something, she's like, "All right, Davis, no more roller skating, no more mountain biking, no more dirt
Yeah,
biking." She's like, don't be getting hurt." So,
10
what,
weeks.
Kara, is your cutoff for Danielle?
Oh
This is it.
gosh. Yeah, this is
This is
definitely
This
it?
it.
is it.
I mean,
After
we're
this, that's
we're like
it?
what?
Yeah.
80 days? How many days do we
No,
have
I don't.
left?
La 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 la.
It's
Yeah,
like 85, but, you know, you're
85.
probably
Uh,
I don't know what day you guys are leaving. So,
Oh,
yeah, you have
we're getting there
I
early.
think
We've
we're leaving
already
on the Saturday before. The 6th?
yeah,
Does
we're gonna
that sound
stay
right?
at
okay.
we're gonna stay at the village and we're gonna get massages and like
We're
chill.
arriving on Monday at the village in Mammoth.
Okay.
We arrive on Monday. I do have issues with altitude changes, and so I definitely need a break in.
Acclimate.
So yeah, I gotta acclimate.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking to a girl, who lives in Texas and they went and she and her teammate met and went up to Mammoth, and I was like, "Are you doing anything to help me with the altitude?" But she apparently it went okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's a
just
big
don't.
it's a big altitude change up there.
Yeah.
I start having issues right around 7,000 feet, so I know my limit. I travel enough to know where it
Yeah.
starts bothering me. So
And we're gonna drive
Okay.
in. I know a lot of rebels fly in and you don't get any you can't, acclimate that way. Like so we're at least gonna go and drive in and do
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many times have you driven across the country this year, Kara?
I mean, I
uh,
just got back. I just got back after
yeah.
2 months.
I think
And then
Carrot.
you too, Danielle, you were just out here.
Yeah.
I have driven out there by the end of this year. Well, with Rebel Rally, will be like 5 or 6 times I will have driven out west this year.
I know.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
home and I was like, "Oh my gosh, the gas is basically free here." I was like,
I
"What is this
know.
life?"
I
But it's
know.
stupid hot. Like it's like triple digits. And
Yeah,
we were
and it's
like
humid.
I had a beanie on and a down jacket and I came home to this nastiness,
Yeah.
like a swamp.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
fun.
rough.
Yeah. That's what we do.
Um, yeah. So I'm super excited for you guys. You
Yeah.
feeling ready? You seem like you're ready.
We need to get helmets. We need to
Yeah.
we need to do some things. We got to get the wrap
Yeah.
started. That's coming up next.
Mm,
And so we're gonna get that going, and I think
I mean
then
it
we'll be.
I mean we have everything we need. I'm gonna go
Oh
through
yeah,
my rulers one last time and see. I mean I have multiples of everything, but I'm gonna,
mhm.
not one last time. I'm gonna just go through them again soon.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I look at them all the time, but I'm not like I gotta count how many I
like
have
a
of
check.
everything again. Yeah, I need to count again how many I have. And they
Yeah.
wear out fast. Like the numbers and stuff rub off, and I've
Well,
noticed that.
even yeah, you we discovered one of the rulers at the Rebel U, like they weren't printed right, and so
Oh,
we need to check every one of those. Like it was marked
Yeah,
right, but it was like the ticks were off a little. Like Chrissy was like, no, I would send that. I would contact them and get that replaced, and so
yeah.
yeah.
And I was gonna make a 400,000 scale ruler, but I decided I'm just gonna custom order that one. Just have them make it for me.
Yeah.
So, but
Tara Lynn just gave me a new see-through ruler.
oh
That's
yeah.
basically a 50,000 scale, but it's super long. And
Oh,
so I replaced my clear ruler because it's clearer than the one that I had in my kit. So
uh-huh.
I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome.
you'll have to
Yeah.
send us what that is.
I think she just ordered it on Amazon. I'll have to see. I think it's still in the wrapping paper.
Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yes.
You're competing, too. So
I am ready. I'm very ready. Our team, we need a few more things to wrap up, and we didn't do a full build on the Tacoma yet. Liz and I are getting together in Montana the beginning of August to
okay.
put the truck together into its final form and work on the wrap and all of that stuff. So, but skill wise and teamwork wise, like, yeah, we're ready. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Hmm.
So if it was tomorrow, you'd be like, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Minus the vehicle.
I mean, I would take it as it is if I had to. I
Yeah.
mean, it functions just fine. Um, but you wanna go over it with a fine tooth comb and make sure nothing's on the brink of breaking before you
Yeah.
undergo this kind of a challenge. But yeah, I'm ready. And
Yes.
I think that's where you have to get to, right? Like nothing it's kind of like when's the perfect time to have a kid where there's kind of no perfect time to have a kid. Like there's always going to be something that you feel you could be more prepared for or know more about or have practiced more, but there's no time like the present.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
um, I'm still, working on, plotting, just being faster at plotting, like, and accurate, always accurate. It's like no matter, I guess that's just practice also.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like I'll go through and plot everything and then double check it and I'll have, you know, one that's just randomly off and I know exactly what I did. Like
Mhm.
I used to be like, "Oh, I don't know exactly what I did." And now I'm like, "Oh, yep, I did that." Every
Yeah.
single time like I'll find one and know what I did wrong exactly, but that's frustrating to me. And so I wish I could just plot and not have to double check, like be confident in what I
Yeah, that I don't
did
think that's a
every single
thing.
time.
I don't think
Okay.
anybody can do that.
It's not just me that like
No.
like
Mm-mm.
I'll occasionally like I'll read like the numbers backwards or something,
Oh,
not
yeah.
latitude and longitude backwards, but just,
A
it'll be
digit.
like
2 numbers side by side.
48.76 or whatever, and I'll do like 46.78, and I'm like, why, what am I doing?
'Cause you
Hmm.
just got so many numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the mornings, and when you're in the tent and everybody's plotting, like, people are talking around you and people are talking about numbers, and
Hmm.
so being able to just, like, get in the zone and not hear what's happening around you is a good skill too.
Yeah.
It'd be nice
Have
if you
you
could have headphones to play music.
I know, like noise canceling or something,
s some people
headphones.
wear those
So
for their
I have
go ahead.
that the little thing that I got for us that's gonna have playlist on it that you
Hmm.
could hook headphones to, and so we could just put like quiet noise on it if you wanted
Yeah,
to do that. Try that.
I might have to do that because I get distracted so easy.
Yeah.
And when I get distracted, it's like I have to start all over again.
Because then you're
Like,
like, where was
oh,
I?
where was I? Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a rules at my plotting table. If
Yes.
anybody comes to my table, I always tell them it's no talkie-talkie. So, like, don't be talking to me. Obviously, you have to talk to your own teammate, and
Yes.
that's fine. I can ignore that. Don't shake the table. You
Yeah.
don't want a teammate or, somebody on the other side, and they, like, race and the whole table shakes while you're trying to, like and,
At the
no drinks.
trials, at the trials, Nina and everybody was like, whenever it was very quiet because everybody was plotting, Nina and Emily just started like talking really loud
Pounding
and
on
was
stuff and
yeah,
banging.
pounding on tables. They're like, because this is not real.
Yeah. I know, it's true, and then I don't let anybody have any drinks on the table, and if you
Oh,
ruin my
no.
map, I take yours.
Yeah. Yeah. No drinks on the table. That's such a bad idea.
Yeah. So yeah. And, one of my good friends, April, her sister came over and asked if she could join my table my first year, and so I told her the rules, and she was like, "Okay," and then she went and she told April my rules, and April was like, "Where is this girl? She's my favorite." That's how we became friends.
I think it's amazing rules.
I love
Yeah,
your rules.
you
I
should
We'll
might
be
live
at your
by those.
table.
I might
We'll be at
be
your
at
table.
the
I
table.
I did not make those rules. Those rules were given to me by, another competitor my first year, so
Sounds
I
like
just
Tara Lynn's
inherited
rules.
them.
They're wonderful.
It was not Tara Lynn, surprisingly.
Because Tara Lynn's no talkie-talkie.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you do whenever you're plotting out all of your like you plot as much as you can, obviously, and you see the route. At what point do you go back and double check? Do you double check them each one as you're doing it, or do you do five and double check those five? Or like when do you or do you wait till like you're driving? Like how do you
Yeah, I usually, plot them all, and then if one looks funny, I might compare it to somebody else. Well, I might double check it, and then if it still looks funny, like, compare it to somebody else.
Mhm.
okay.
Um, I just go by my gut.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then if you roll up on, like, an X or a black, sorry, and
Mhm.
you're like, this is not really making a lot of sense," then I'll double check it before we do any clicking.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed is, you know, finding those checkpoints. Not always, but it almost starts to make sense. Like you start to see what Emily was thinking about.
Don't say
Why
this too loud.
I
Shh.
know, I know. Cut this out of the podcast. Um, it's like, oh, it's right here. Like, oh,
Mhm.
it's
In
it
this
just
wash.
starts to yeah, it just starts to
Oh,
really
but I have a saying, and that is, "Don't Emily it."
no.
So,
Yeah.
like, I've been somewhere before and I've been like, "Okay, I think it's here, but that spot has such a much better view, like, that's probably where she put it," and then I go and I click there and it wasn't there, it was where
Where you
I
were.
actually was, yeah.
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 And that's
So, like,
another thing
not
that we have to like and Danielle especially, she trusts in your gut. Like you've got to hold to it because I've heard multiple people say that during like the rally like the next day or that evening or whatever I don't know how the format that with that goes but like Emily's like there was only a team one day today that got this one checkpoint because everybody was going this other way but this one team followed their gut and they nailed it and so it's like we got to remember to do that.
Mhm.
yeah. That that is really, that's a it's tricky. So you're gonna come into an area and you get a little bit of feel from that from the trials, but you're
Mhm.
coming into an area where you think a
Hmm.
checkpoint is and it's black, so there's no marker.
Hmm.
And let's say there's 10 other teams there and everybody's sort of like
Hmm.
wandering around
Oh, we
and people
experienced
are
that, yeah.
yeah, and some people are clicking and some people aren't, or you hear like somebody will click and then they make noise and you're like, "Oh, is that it?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's a hard one too, to just like keep your blinders on and play your own game.
do your own
Yeah.
rally.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or especially if you like your mentor is there. Like my first year, Tara Lynn was very instrumental in helping me train up. And so like we would roll into an area and I'd be like, don't worry about Tara Lynn.
Yeah.
But then you're
Yeah.
like, well, she's the most winningest. I should be paying attention.
You never know when they're having a bad day.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Oh,
clicked, like Nina likes to say they got all the checkpoints one day because they clicked wrong blues.
Oh no.
And then they went back and got theirs.
Oh.
that's another thing that we learned is like when to go back and when to like recoup some things. Like
Mhm.
whenever we did one day at the trials, like if we would have went, like if we after we replotted it, because once we clicked or whatever, and we found out where we were, then we could have replotted it and recouped some of those points. So that was a little. It's just little things. It's little things that can
Yeah.
make a
I
day.
was I was worried about time too.
Hmm.
Yeah. How did you
So
guys do on time? Did you cut it close or did you have plenty of time?
we rolled in 20 minutes early, 25 minutes
Okay.
early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on Sunday we
Yeah.
had really. I mean, we didn't go after. There was, I think, how many did we go after? We went after. We got actually went after them all with the.
We got them
I
all.
mean, not the non X's, but
Yeah, we got
Mhm.
all of our checkpoints.
yeah.
Did them all. We did really
Nice.
well. Like, you know how they give you your percentage at the end.
Mhm.
So we did really well. We were very pleased.
Nice. That's
Okay.
always a good feeling too. I I like to go get my score at the end of the day.
Yes.
Some people
Well,
don't.
yeah. We're having issues. She's trying to force me to not go get it.
To
She'll
not go
only
get it.
Yeah, only because she doesn't want to know. And I'm like, well, I might want to know. So,
Yeah, so what there's rules and time frames to when you can submit inquiries. So what if you were scored wrong and you never went and you looked?
yeah.
Then she
So,
has to not tell me because
that's fine. I won't tell you.
You can tell
I just
me.
need to know if we're
I'll tell
doing
Avis.
good or if we're like just make your lunch today and just go home. I just need to. I need to know like where do I submit the tracker after I abandon ship? Because
No.
I don't want to get into my head so much that like what am I doing wrong? How can we do better? I don't want that
Yeah,
piece, but then I also don't want the other piece of comparison to another team that's doing good. And if we see them out there and we know that they did good the day before, we question ourselves as like where we're at, or if,
right.
and I don't want to have like I never want to have a cocky attitude of like those people aren't doing the best, so we need to stick with like I just like it's I don't want to get in my head with that, and so like I don't want to know, but I also want to know. So it's hard
Yeah.
for me, but I just don't think I can.
I just wanna know. I have to know.
That's what
But it's
Danielle
kinda
does.
like, do you play Phase 10?
Oh yeah,
The
we
card
played
Yeah.
it in
game,
that.
Phase 10? Right, okay, so in that game, you can be, like, down and out, stuck on Phase 3, and somebody can be on Phase 7, and then, like, 4 hands later, you're on Phase 7, and they're still there on Phase 7. So, like,
Mhm.
one bad day or one bad scorecard does not make for a bad rally.
Mhm.
I'm just
So,
getting pissy that I'm still back on this phase and this other person's ahead of me.
yeah, and it's gonna make you play harder, right?
Either that or make me get really mad at it. Like that's like the divorce game.
My brother-in-law he loves games, and he's kind of a card shark, and he forces us to play spades with him.
I've never
And,
played that.
like, he comes up with these rules, and I'm trying to understand the rules and trying to understand the strategy, and he's one of these people, like, he could have any cards, and he could still beat me.
Mhm.
And that is, like, I'm gonna tip the table over game for me.
Yeah, I love
I get
spades.
so mad. Huh?
I'm very
I like
competitive.
spades. It's fun.
Well, we'll have to play.
Thankfully, Danielle is a pretty good poker because she will like she said she won't tell me. So I fully believe that she could tell me that we're doing really good and we could be the last
Uh-huh.
person. Like because I'm just so gullible and trusting of her that she just
Because
uses
I'm a
it
good
as an
actor.
advantage. And she just like she says that she's acting when really she's lying. So
That's what
like
my family says. I can make them believe anything. You just don't understand.
yeah,
Anything.
we were all
It
playing
makes them
Scrabble.
so mad.
We were all playing Scrabble, and she was just like, she did this word, and her husband was like, "That's not a word," and then he was like, "You literally said this last time when we were playing, and I did it, and you checked it, and it was a word." She said, "So go ahead if you want to check it, but I'm still gonna get these points." Like fully believed, and I'm like sitting over there because I was learning Scrabble. I had never
She
seen
wasn't
Scrabble,
playing.
and so I was like, I don't think that's a word, and so. So after they moved on, then I was like, I'm looking at the Scrabble book. So I pull up the Scrabble book. I'm like, that ain't no word. She's like, yeah, we didn't check it last time either. He's stupid. I was like, oh my god.
I told my daughter-in-law, my son's girlfriend, but I told her that I shave my chest every week because hair grows on it so much. And straight up believed me. First she laughed, and then I was like, that wasn't very nice. Like, why would you laugh at me? And Karen knows, Sophie.
You
And
are
Well,
then
that's
not
so
a safe
smart.
friend for me. You are not a safe friend for me. I
Thank
am
you.
so gullible and
Thank you,
naive.
Avis.
This is
I
this
can
is
keep a
not good,
straight face
Danielle.
and make you believe anything.
Probably,
Yeah.
And
yes.
tells you that you're getting kicked out of the rally for like your previous like don't believe her.
Oh, I really need to go to Hollywood. I really think I can do this.
She can. She can. I don't know that that's a good
Uh,
trait, but she
I don't
can.
know. I don't know. The
I'm
thing
just
is
trying to
like
figure out
the
where.
thing is like I despise lying. Like it's a huge pet peeve, makes me very angry. Like it's a huge issue. I
It
don't
should
like
be,
it.
right?
Same. Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
they're all
same.
like, "You're lying." And I'm like, "No, I'm literally having fun and acting, and you're just saying it is lying."
That's
Like
pretty much
I'm gonna
I'm
tell you the truth.
I'm sure like
Yeah, no,
the psycho people that like go to jail, they would say that they're acting too, but they really just
no,
killed somebody.
I agree. She's just as long as she comes clean in the end. Like,
Oh, yeah.
quickly is the
Quick
key.
enough.
No.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, let's put some time limits on that.
Yeah, like, the next sentence,
Yeah, I don't
because
No,
know.
she
I'm
plays
so
that out for a
gullible.
while.
I just won't do it to you,
No.
Avis.
Okay, perfect. I like this plan better.
Yeah.
This is I like this plan.
You
I'm
can
very
watch it
excited
from the
now.
sideline. It's great. It's funny to me.
Okay, I will point out people that I want to use this weapon
I
on. I
do I
mean,
do think you
skill.
you have a point there of like one of us needs to check it in case we need to do an inquiry.
Me.
I'll give
Yeah.
you that. I'll give you
It's
that. But
me.
yeah. So okay, Danielle. This is a new stat. This is a
Mhm.
development that we're discovering right now on Stories in the Dirt.
We're making our new rules as we
Hmm.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole rally has to be.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you're never in your final state. It's kind of like an overlanding vehicle. It's never really in its final state.
No, no, no.
Speaking of,
Uh,
yeah, there's so much to do on my gladiator now. Now that
are
I
you
have
gonna
I have a
turn it
gladiator,
pink?
I am.
You are. Okay. So, Tara, you have a red gladiator.
Cara.
Kara, sorry. Why did I was
Tara
hanging
Lynn.
out yesterday, I was hanging out with my friend Tara and her new baby, and Tara was my
Oh.
first year, rebel partner.
No.
So, anyways, she's fresh on my mind. Kara, you have a gladiator and it's red, but you
Hmm.
posted on Instagram a picture of it pink,
Hmm. Photoshop.
and Boo is pink,
Hmm.
Mhm.
so you're partial to pink. It's going to be pink? You're gonna change the color?
Yep. I'm gonna do it the same Tuscadero as Boo because you can get the. So what had happened was, I went out west and I discovered like at when we were training with Lonnie and Lisa and everybody, I slept out of the back of Boo, and we've got our our born badger beds that we are sponsored with for the rally, and so I would just put it in the back, and I'm gonna do
Mhm.
that for marathon days. And so I've discovered like I'm not an overlander in the sense of packing up and moving and being quick and always packing up and moving. I like to like stay in a place for a while. But while I was traveling out there on the way home, took like the scenic trek home and did all the national park stuff, and I stayed at campgrounds and I just stayed in the back of a vehicle and I was like, I really like this. And so then we got the Gladiator, and we had the Gladiator without being the intent of being Matt's next vehicle when his hits what's already over 100,000 right now.
Mhm.
So when it craps out, he was going to just take over that Gladiator. Well, I'm like, I could have a rock crawling rally rig and an overlanding camping rig.
Yes.
And then Matt was like, yeah, he's like, that's fine. You can take it. You've been building it out this whole time, but now you can like, it's official when I added the Rebel Rally sticker on the back glass. So I'm like, this is like legit
Okay.
mine. And so I was just like, well, if I knew it would have been mine this whole time, I would have not chosen this color.
Right.
And then, like, the new Tuscaderos are now, you can get a 2024. We actually reached out to the dealership because that was going to be, Matt was going to trade Sully in and get a new Gladiator. Well, this is kind of a weird life, but like, we went to one of the Overland Expos and we're friends with Barry Bonds,
Mm.
the baseball. Yeah. And so he was just like, Kara, wrap it cheaper. Like Barry Bonds is sitting there telling me cheaper. I'm like, dude, you have
Yeah.
so much money right now. Like, and so, but I was just like, okay, well, we've been asked about putting body liner on Boo. And I was like, no, we can't because we're doing the rally and it's going to be wrapped and have all of our sponsors stuff on it. And so that wasn't an option. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, wait, but we can do that.
However,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I
yeah,
do love
I'm
pink.
excited to see it.
I do love pink.
Yeah.
It's my color. It's slowly. There's some in my hair, but
It's
It's
washing
my
out.
favorite color actually too.
Is it? Well, that's
It
convenient.
is.
yeah. Danielle may be a Jeep owner eventually. We'll see.
We'll see. I just want to live off my motorcycle like for a long time starting next year.
Yeah, that's another
So,
thing
Yeah.
Danielle did whenever she got back.
yeah, we're going
Oh,
to have
yeah, you did
major
some
life.
long trip, right?
Oh, yeah. I've done multiple motorcycle camping trips. We own the adventure bikes, and um, so yeah, it's really
Like
fun.
444 miles. You're cutting yourself short, sister.
Yeah.
Well, that I did two of them. One was 500 some miles, and one was 444 or something like that. So yeah, it's really fun. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, next year I'm ready to just live the motorcycle overlanding life for we're planning on about maybe 4 months doing that. So
Oh, wow.
my husband and I. So we'll
Yeah.
be doing BDRs and heading out west, and then basically we have like an 11,000-mile trip planned. So we'd head
On
out
a
On
west.
bikes.
motorcycle. Hmm.
Wow.
We'd head
Yeah.
out west. Yeah, and it's not like we're not road cruising, it's like taking
Yeah.
BDRs and stuff. And yeah, head up
I'm gonna be their
towards
support crew.
PNW and yeah, PNW, and then start headed south and cross over to Baja, then take the ferry to mainland, then head on down to Panama,
Oh,
um,
wow.
and then back. So we're looking at about 4.5 months. That's the plan right now.
Yeah.
So
I don't
That's
know that I like
exciting.
this plan because I feel like I haven't seen her. Like last summer, we spent 6 weeks together. We've been at some trainings, but I feel like if I don't see her monthly, it's
but
like
why
an
can't
arm is not attached or
but
something.
I feel like you guys are going to be on the road, so
I don't think
why
it's okay with that either. I'm still
but
struggling.
why can't but why can't you guys do it with us?
Oh,
Is
okay.
there
Oh.
Yeah, is
Okay.
there a reason you guys like why wouldn't we
Well,
be overlanding together?
because I have another Frenchie I'm expecting.
She is expecting. Oh my, oh
Oh
my
my
goodness.
gosh.
I know. Thank you, Avis. Did
Yeah.
you hear that, Kara? She said, "Oh my
Oh, I already
gosh."
know. Avis
I
actually,
already gave her
Avis
the
knew before you did because I was trying to keep a secret from you, Danielle.
Yeah, my question always is, what are your long-term goals? That's all, that her long-term goal is to have a Frenchie farm, and so it's perfect.
Yes,
I'm gonna
the
be the
Frenchie
first
farm.
overlanding Frenchie farm.
Yeah. How many
It
Frenchies can you fit in a rooftop tent with two adults? Oh,
Challenge
wait, and a
accepted.
little doodle.
Oh
You
well,
gotta,
no, we're
yeah,
we're well. So where you have the two gladiators, so we can divvy them up.
yeah.
they push them around in a stroller.
Oh, yeah, of
They love
course.
that life. They didn't choose this life. I'm gonna let them be comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, they're like they're like rough and hardcore little bougie babies.
Yeah. I saw Matt pushing a stroller at one of the events we were at, and I had to do a double take, and then I was like, "Ugh, those are
The
the
dog.
Oh,
dogs."
we've had
Oh yeah.
people. I've had this shake because the top of it goes down over them because it's UV protection after. Because they can't. They don't need hot. Like again, I'm being real. Like they
Yeah.
don't. They
No,
didn't
I know, I
choose
know.
this life. Like so. I don't want them to be like struggling in it. And
Yeah.
so, but we had it pulled down over it, and they were like, and this lady came up and she goes, "Oh, I didn't know you had a baby." And I was like, "Yeah." They were like, "How old?" And this was, I think when we had Rooster, and so no, it was Goose, and I was like, "Oh, he's about 6 months," and then she was just like, "Oh, can I see your baby?" Like, and I was just like, "Yeah," and so I pulled it back, and there's the Goose there, just like with his big old bug eyes, and she goes, "Oh." They're my kids.
Yeah. That's cute. They are
So, yeah.
very cute.
So that's one of the reasons why we couldn't travel. Like, but I will go anywhere that I can go in my vehicle because I will have a lot. I'll be like a soccer mom van with lined up car seats in the back with dogs.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy. Um, okay, so how many more trainings do you guys have together?
Well, we have Rebel U coming up. Oh, wait, the weekend before Rebel U, we were training with
Holly and Laura again.
Holly and Laura. Okay,
Mhm.
training with Holly and Laura the weekend before Rebel U, and then Rebel U,
And then we're
and then
continuing Holly and Laura.
oh yeah, and then Holly and Laura on Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah,
right
like to.
after
Mhm.
Rebel U, some or
We haven't
Wednesday to
really
Wednesday.
we haven't dialed that down yet, but
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
and then we're gonna go see someone else everybody knows, Avis.
Yeah. We're
Going to
staying at
For a
training with
Air
fun
Avis.
practice
we're
weekend.
staying at Airbnb Avis.
Airbnb
Yeah,
Avis. Yeah, we're gonna be
I'll
that's gonna
have
training
be
with
fun.
you.
I'll have
I'm
some
so
Yeah,
packages
excited.
delivered to your house. So, anyway.
perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, one official Rebel Rally training, and then three, like, just throwing in all these other days, trying to do what we can and just practice,
Nice.
practice, practice.
Yeah,
Lots of practice this year.
Yeah, we've
yeah,
really been doing a lot of practice this year just because this next year my daughter Danielle's gonna be traveling a lot, but then also like my daughter's graduating. And so I want to make sure I focus that time with her. And so next year we
yeah.
won't be able to do as many trainings probably.
No.
But we're
That's
already talking 2025 for Belle. So
Yeah, it'll
nice.
be we'll need to, throw in some of
refreshers.
those, yeah, refreshers and stuff, and um but yeah,
It
it
gets
won't,
so much easier though.
yeah, it's not
Does
going to be
it?
like as
That's-
Yeah,
hardcore. That's what everybody says. I mean, it stays hard, but it's easier. It's like, okay, you've learned these
yeah.
skills and you can keep fine tuning them,
Mhm,
and you have to refresh them, of course.
mhm.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, going into this, we both committed to going in pretty hardcore for training. Um, we just have some lofty goals this year.
Oh yeah, we
So,
Yeah.
do. What are you thinking that we're going to end up in Avis?
Oh, you mean the finish line?
Mhm.
I don't know. They used to end at a hotel in LA,
I
and
hate
then
LA.
huh?
I hate LA. I
I
really
mean,
hope
at
they
the
don't
end of
end
8 days,
there.
I really don't care.
I mean, maybe it'll be fine, but man, do I not like LA. But okay.
Well, it doesn't say. It didn't say like it near Glamis, like where the last one did, and that was a lot of the
No.
speculation from the Rebellion people whenever we
Okay,
were
so
at.
how do we have where do we have our husbands fly into?
Well, it should come out. My thinking is the next update that they send out, it'll have that information
Okay. So we
because
will,
people do need to start making plans. So yeah,
yeah. Yeah, our
Mhm.
husbands are going to need to fly in somewhere.
yeah,
I think my husband will be there. He's gonna be going out with Rob, I think. So maybe
yeah.
check and see
They
if
do a
Bryce can come in.
Oh, so okay. So
they do a
Matt
big
is driving
follow
out
the
with
rebel.
us.
Mhm.
Oh, Bryce is going to fly. He has to come
Okay.
out because he's teaching then. So, yep. He won't be
But
able to
yeah,
fly out till Friday.
hopefully in the next update, those details will come out so people can start making plans.
I need all
Okay.
But
the updates.
I have no insight into it, honestly. I
I
just
just
know
didn't
it
know if you
used to
felt
be
one way.
no. It used to be, in LA at a hotel, and then after COVID, they started doing it, in Glamis at the end, and then everybody really liked that, and, but Emily has I mean, for a number of years now, has said that, don't rely on her being predictable, and maybe even the last day won't be in Glamis, so I don't know,
She
the wording this year is interesting.
It
she
was.
It
said
says
something like, she's like, we have something really fun planned.
Mhm.
So now I'm
yeah,
like,
and
what?
the wording says Southern California, and then the other interesting thing is, there's specially notated, events in the morning, which is unusual,
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
that
better. People can.
non-credentialed
Mhm.
people can attend, and the wording makes it sound like there's a finish line area and there's a base camp area.
yeah,
Like, if you read it, it implies that it might not be at the same location.
yeah.
This is
So,
kind
I
of
don't
like where
know.
it becomes so, I've said that it's like Survivor meets Big Brother. So this is like expect the unexpected. Like I just
Yes,
imagine like Julie Chen coming out and being like,
that would be amazing.
I'm really
But yeah,
excited.
so I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap us up, ladies. Thank you so much for your time.
I had a
Um,
Yeah.
blast.
yeah, it's always a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you guys in person and at the starting line in October.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Cannot
All
wait.
right. You guys are gonna crush it. I'm so excited for you.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.